Hello friends, I am Ashwin. In this video we will see how Viswanathan Anand beat Jones Gavin at Tata Steel Chess 2018 in a one-sided match using black pieces. In this game Jones had a white. He started the game with pawn to e4 and now Viswanathan played pawn to c5, the most aggressive approach against pawn on e4, the Sicilian defense, and here comes pawn on c3, the plain variation. In this position black has mainly two good way to continue the game. One is pawn to d5 where pawn capture on d5, queen capture on d5 is possible because this pawn on c3 already took away the square from the knight, so knight c3 cannot be possible to harass black's queen. But anyways, another good move is to play knight to f6, which is a main line, which directly attacks the pawn on e4 and asking question to white what he is gonna do, because he has already played pawn to c3, so he won't be able to play this knight to c3. So pawn to e5 and now knight to d5 was played and knight to f3. Usual continuation in this position is to play pawn to d4 and we'll get a sort of French defense positions like pawn capture and followed by pawn to e6 and pawn to d5 and so on. But after knight d5 we have this knight to f3, knight to c6 and now bishop to c4 attacking the knight on d5, knight to b6, bishop to b3 and now pawn to c4. This attacks the bishop, so bishop moved to c2 and here pawn to d6, and this is very important move. This immediately attacks in the center and also guarantee black a good game. Here pawn capture on d6 is almost forced and which was played in the game, and now comes queen capture d6. Point is that if white won't be careful, then he would be having a hole in his position on d3, and if he immediately get rid of this hole by playing pawn to d4, then simply I can capture and pass on, and after queen capture on d3 black can play just pawn on e5, and this guarantee black's a good center and a comfortable game. But after queen takes on d6 white played castle in this position, and now comes bishop to g4 pinning the knight, pawn to h3 gaining a tempo on the bishop, but black continues to pin with bishop to h5 and now rook to e1. In this position it might be possible for white to play pawn on d4 even, and then after in person queen capture on d3 and game is open for all three results, but bishop h5 and rook e1 was played, and this gives black a sharp opportunity to seize the initiative with long castle. And now look at this d3 square. This is really headache in white's position. Bishop to e4 was played, and this even helps black to launch the pawn storm on the king side by playing pawn to e6 and pawn to f5, because this bishop to e4 is in the way, so black can gain a tempo with pawn to f5. Pawn to e6 was played, and in this position b3 was played and Anand played pawn to f5. This attacks the bishop to c2 and now pawn to g6. Of course this closed the door for bishop retreat, but anyways there is no chance that black's bishop get trapped. So b capture c4 was played and now pawn to e5. In this position for white it is good to play pawn to d3, just hold some square on e4, but anyways, and not allow black to capture anything on d4 in case you play d4. So d4 in this position is not a good move, but anyways d4 was played, and after e takes on d4 white realized that and there is no good way to recapture on d4. Of course you cannot capture with the knight, and if you capture with the pawn, problem is that after bishop capture on f3, queen capture on f3 and knight capture on d4, black will get a really good position. For example queen to c3, then even you can try this bishop to g7, or even you can try this queen to b4, or queen to b4 is more logical because white's threat is to play pawn to c5. So say queen to c5 followed by bishop to g7, and black is having really good game. But anyways after e takes on d4 white played bishop to g5 attacking this rook, and here if you wish you can pause the video and find the winning move for black. Of course it has some relation with exchange sacrifice. Bishop to g7 was played, sacrifice the exchange, and after bishop capture on d8, rook capture on d8, what black gain in return of exchange? black is getting this beautiful pawn on c3. Of course, still this pawn capture on d4 is not possible because of bishop capture on f3, and after queen capture on knight to d4, this attacks the queen and the bishop, and on top of that we have already this bishop on g7. So in case of queen c3, I think yeah, black can simply play knight to e2, and this wins the queen and the game. So this is a really good position for black. So in the game, after bishop g5 and exchange sacrifice, rook capture on d8, it was not possible for white to play pawn capture on d4. Queen to d3 was played. Now comes queen to f4, and now queen to d2, trying to exchange some pieces in very much cramped position. And here Anand just played queen takes on queen, and after knight takes queen, Viswanathan Anand get a really beautiful pawn on c3, and this guarantees the win, because after d capture on c3, knight to b3, it becomes obvious that pawn on c4 is lost, and black is going to just roll his pawn on the queen side, which is enough for win. Bishop capture f3, and now g capture f3, and look at the white's position, white's pawn. All are scattered, and this is enough at a grandmaster level to win. Knight to b4 was played, attacking the bishop. Rook to e2, protecting the bishop, and now knight capture on c4, and now rook to c1 is played. Of course, knight capture c4 idea is to play b5 and a4 and so on. Pawn to b5 was played. Knight to a1. What a said. What a knight. Knight on a1. So bishop to h6, and this position is Viswanathan Anand is totally dominating this position. I mean, there are many ways to win this game now. Rook to b1 was played. Pawn to f5, protecting the knight, and now king to g2 played. Knight to d2, attacking the rook. Much better might be to play knight to d5, not knight d5, but rook to d2 might be. Yeah, that was a much better move. But anyways, this knight to d2 is also good. So this attacks the rook. So rook b to e1, doubling the rook and hoping for this rook e7 and some kind of counter play on the 7th rank. Bishop to f4 was played, and now rook to e7, and here comes beautiful move, rook to d7. Of course, this exchange won't help white because rook capture rook, and now black rook is having no activity on the e file, and no other white pieces are so much active, so this is totally winning. So after rook d7, white decided not to exchange the rooks and played rook to e8 check, and after king c7, rook 8 was played, attacking the f5, pawn to f4, and now rook to e7, sorry, rook to e6, king b7, attacking the rook on a8, rook a to e8 was played, and bishop to d6, and this eliminates all the possibility of rook to e7 to get some play on the 7th rank. Bishop to d1 was played, and now knight to d5, and threatening knight f4 check, followed by catching the rook on d3, sorry, e6. Rook e1 was played, knight f4 check, king to h1, and if black wish, he can simply recapture here. This is also winning, but Rishian just played bishop to c5, and now bishop to e2 was played, and now knight capture e2, rook capture e2, sorry, not that rook, rook 1 capture e2, and now pawn to b4, and this is already lost for white, because these pawn are going to roll just, and there is no way to defend this position. And after a few just one more move, rook to e5 and rook to c7, white decided to resign, because there is no way that white can prevent this pawn roll. Pawn to b3 followed by b2 and b1. So friends, how was the game? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you really like this video, do subscribe this channel for more video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.